It's Math Man! Shh, got sound effects and everything here. Okay, we're going to start with a square. A square has length and a square has width. I said that wrong, didn't I? Let's turn it this way. Well, you know what? It's the same thing because your length and your width is the same when you're working with a square. So let's take out the words length and width, and let's just call them sides, because this side, this side, this side, this side are all going to be the same. To find the area of a square, you would multiply the side times the side. And that comes in today because we're going to be talking about square roots, starting with square. We're going to put a number right here, and what we want to know is what number times itself will give us this number. The first thing we want to do is put a number there. We're going to use the number 4. So what we want to know is what is the square root of this number in here? 4. Now to do this, let's use an example. Let's use a square. Now the square has equal sides in order to be a square. Remember that part? Now what we want to do is we want to find out that we have 2 units here, 2 units on top, 2 units on this side, and we also have 2 units across the bottom. When we multiply units, 2 times 2, 2 times 2, that we're talking about square root and trying to find the number of 4. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 units, and what number times itself, which is 2 times 2, gives us that number. So when we're talking about the square root of 4, the answer would be 2. That's 9. We're going to find the square root of 9. 4 was an easy square root, and 9 is the next easy square root. So we're going to find the square root of 9. We're going to find an object that has sides of 3 and 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, same on the other side and at the bottom. We got that. So when we take an object which is 3 times 3 and finding the area, the answer is 9, because you see a 3 there, 3 there, 3 times itself equals 9. The square root of 9 is 3. What happens if a big crash there? See, what if it's a number somewhere in between? That's what we want to find out. Say it's the square root of 8. Now we've talked about the square root of 9. We talked about the square root of 4. That was 2. That was 3. But this is 8 here. So what's the square root of 8? That means it's going to be somewhere between the two numbers of 2 and 3. So in order to figure this part out, we want to find a number which is greater than 2, less than 3. We are now going to work on finding the square root of 8. We know that it's going to be a larger number than 2, but it's going to be smaller than 3. So we're going to start with what we know. The square root of 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, is 2. So we know that already. And let's add up until we get to this number. Let's add blocks until we get to that number. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So now we're at 8. But there's a problem here. We're not a square. We need to have a square. 3 across, 3 at the top, 3. Oh, there it is. So we're going to add another square here, and that'll give us our perfect square since we're doing square root. Now let's pull this piece off, because we know that's a known. We know that this piece is equal to 2. So we're good with that piece. Now let's take a look at what's left. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4 fifths. Got it? Good. So now what we need to do is take the 2 and 4 fifths. Ta-da! The square root of 8 is 2 and 4 fifths. Now that's an estimate. If we did this on a calculator, the actuality would come out that the square root of 8 is 2.8284, etc. Now the thing is this little wiggly equal sign, that is an approximate symbol. It's called approximate, which means it's only close to it. Now we've already talked about how the square root of 9 is equal to 3. What if we had to come up with a number for the square root of 11? Let's take the same approach on this one. Let's count our squares until we get to 11. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We need to add 2 more. 10, 11. but we don't have a square yet. So we're going to keep adding tiles until we get to a square. There's one there. There we go. So now let's see, we have 4 and 4, 4 and 4. Okay, so we have a square now. Now the thing we need to do now is let's pull away the known, which is our 3, and let's see what we have left. At this point, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we could call that sevenths. And of the sevenths, we use 2 to make our 11 with 2 sevenths. So we get our square. So the square root of 11 would approximately be 3 and 2 sevenths. Ta-da! If we did this on a calculator, we would come up with the square root of 11 approximately being 3.3166, which matches our fraction number pretty close of 3 and 2 sevenths. It's Math Man doing the math he can.